Welcome back to the Before AGI podcast. Ready to dive into some more AI awesomeness?
Always ready. What's on the docket for today?
Well, today we're tackling something that, until pretty recently, was seen as like a uniquely human skill, competitive programming.
Yeah, getting AI to go head to head with the best human coders out there sounds intense.
Definitely. And the source material for this deep dive is a research paper from OpenAI, those folks pushing the boundaries of AI.
Yeah, I've seen some of their work, pretty impressive stuff. So what exactly are we looking at in this paper?
So they basically trained their large language models, these AI systems, to compete in coding competitions. It's like the Olympics of coding, seriously.
Wow, coding Olympics. So are we talking like platforms like Code Forces where these programmers are battling it out?
Exactly. And the paper focuses on three specific AI systems they developed, O1, O1IOI, and O3. Each one kind of builds on the previous one, pushing the limits further.
Okay, I'm intrigued. So let's start with O1. What's the deal with that one?
So O1 is like the original model, their baseline. They describe it as a general-purpose reasoning machine, which is already pretty cool.
General purpose reasoning. So it's not just like spitting out code snippets, it's actually thinking.
Yeah, and even without any special training, O1 outperformed a non-reasoning language model. It really shows the power of reinforcement learning.
RL, right. I've heard that's a key technique in training these AI models. So O1 showed them that an AI that can reason is already ahead of the game. But then they created O1AOI.
You got it. O1IOI was like the specialist, fine-tuned specifically for the International Olympiad in Informatics, the IOI.
Oh, wow, the actual coding Olympics. So they basically gave this AI some specialized training for the big leagues.
Exactly. They even gave it some clever tricks, stuff designed by humans to use during the competition.
Like giving it a secret weapon for the coding Olympics.
Haha, I like that. So how did O1IOI actually do in the IOI? Did it take home the gold?
Well, get this. OpenAI actually entered O1I into the live IOI competition in 2024. It competed under the same time pressure and everything, just like the human contestants.
Yeah, talk about pressure. So did it win?
It didn't quite get the gold medal, but it did achieve a very respectable ranking. But here's where it gets really interesting. When they gave O1I more attempts to submit solutions, more tries at the problems, its performance jumped way up.
So it just needed a few more cracks at the problem to really nail it. What does that tell us about how this AI is actually solving problems?
It makes you wonder, right? Is it brute forcing solutions? Or is there a deeper understanding of the problem going on? It's kind of like how we define problem solving in humans, too.
That's a great point. It's not just about finding any solution. It's about finding the best one. And this is where O3 comes in, their latest and greatest model. Am I right?
You got it. O3 was trained purely with reinforcement learning, so it had to develop its own reasoning strategies. No human tricks this time.
Wow. So it's like it had to learn how to learn.
Exactly. And when they tested O3 on those same IOI problems, but retrospectively, not in the live competition, it actually achieved a gold medal score.
Hold on. So this AI could have won the coding Olympics without any human intervention.
That's what the results suggest. And during its training, O3 developed its own unique test time strategies, like creating simpler solutions to double-check its more complex ones.
So it was building in its own quality control system. That's incredible. It wasn't just mimicking humans. It was coming up with its own innovative techniques.
Absolutely. And that has huge GE implications for how AI could be used in software development, beyond just these competitions. Yeah, it really makes you think what AI can do, right? Like, how'd they even get O3 to this level?
Right. Like, how do you train an AI to be a gold medal coder?
Well, a lot of it comes down to, like I mentioned earlier, reinforcement learning.
RL. Okay, remind me how that works again.
Sure. So it's basically like the model learns by, trying things out, making mistakes, and getting feedback. If it does something good, it gets a reward. And if it messes up, there's a penalty. Kind of like training a dog, but with code.
Ah, I see. So the AI gets a virtual treat when it writes good code. But how does it know what good code even is?
That's where the training data comes in. They used a huge data set of coding problems and solutions, and the reward system was set up to encourage the AI to not just get the right answer, but to do it in a smart and efficient way.
Okay, so like elegant code, not just any old solution.
Exactly, just like a human programmer would aim for. And through this whole process, O3 developed a really deep understanding of coding. It wasn't just copying what it saw, it was coming up with its own way of thinking about code.
It's almost like it developed its own coding style, which is kind of wild to think about. Makes you wonder if we'll see AI come up with totally new ways of programming, stuff we haven't even thought of.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. But even if AI doesn't completely reinvent coding, it could still totally change how we develop software. Like, imagine AI helping programmers write code, finding bugs, even suggesting ways to make the code better.
It'd be like having this super smart coding buddy who's always there to help you out.
Exactly. And AI could also take over a lot of the boring, repetitive coding tasks, so human programmers could focus on the more creative stuff.
Oh, that'd be amazing. No more spending hours on tedious bug fixes. But wouldn't that mean a lot of programmers would lose their jobs? If AI can do so much of the work, what happens to the humans?
That's a really important question. We definitely need to think about that as AI gets more powerful. But I think it's more likely that AI will help humans, not replace them entirely.
So it's about collaboration, not competition.
Yeah, exactly. Like a partnership, where AI handles the routine stuff and humans do the thinking and problem solving that AI can't do yet.
Makes sense. It's
Yeah.
all about finding that balance, right? Using AI to its full potential, but still valuing what human programmers bring to the table. So we talked a lot about competitive programming, but can these AI models actually build real-world applications?
Right, like can they do more than just solve these competition-style problems? Well, to test that, OpenAI used these data sets that are designed to be like real-world coding challenges.
Okay, interesting. So tell me more about these data sets.
So one of them is called the HackerRank Astra dataset. It's all about these complex projects that are more like what programmers actually work on in companies. Stuff that involves multiple files and different parts working together.
So more than just solving a single coding puzzle, it's like building a whole system.
Exactly. And on this dataset, both O1 and O3 did really well, especially O3. They had high pass rates and good scores, which means their reasoning skills can actually be used for real-world software engineering.
Wow, so this isn't just theoretical. These AIs can build stuff we actually use.
Yeah, and they also tested the models on something called SWE Bench Verified. It's a benchmark that's specifically for evaluating how well AI can solve real-world software issues.
So like the messy, unpredictable problems that programmers face every day.
Exactly, and O3 outperformed all the previous models on this benchmark too, so it really seems like it can handle those real-world challenges.
It's exciting to see that these AI models are actually capable of contributing to the software we use. What about other real-world applications?
Well, one thing to think about is the potential downsides. Like, if AI can write code, what's to stop someone from using it to create harmful software, like viruses or something?
That's a scary thought.
Yeah, it's definitely a concern. The researchers are very aware of this, and they're working on ways to make sure AI is used responsibly. It's about building safeguards and ethical guidelines into AI development.
I guess it's like with any powerful tool, you have to be careful how you use it.
Exactly. And it's not just up to the people who create AI, it's up to all of us to think about the impact it has on society and to make sure it's used for good.
So we need to have these conversations, not just about what AI can do, but also about how we want to use it. There's so much to consider. So besides what we've already talked about, what else did the OpenAI research tell us about what O3 can do?
One thing I found super interesting is that O3 actually came up with its own strategies for testing its solutions. Like during training, it started creating simpler solutions just to double check its more complex ones.
So it's like, I'm not sure about this complex answer. Let me try a simpler way to see if I get the same result.
Exactly. And it wasn't programmed to do that, it figured it out on its own.
That's amazing. So it's not just copying humans, it's coming up with its own ways to solve problems.
Yeah, and that has huge implications for how we think about AI problem solving. It shows that these AI models can be really strategic and adapt to different situations.
It's like we're seeing AI become truly creative.
Yeah, and not just in coding, but potentially in all sorts of fields. Who knows what AI will be able to do in the future?
It's mind-blowing, right? Like, what are the limits of AI problem solving? Could we be on the verge of AI that can not only code better than us, but also solve some of the world's biggest problems?
It's a pretty exciting possibility. It's early days, of course, but this research definitely suggests that AI is going to play a massive role in innovation and solving problems, not just with coding, but in all sorts of areas.
Yeah, it feels like we're witnessing a new kind of intelligence emerging, one that's not bound by the same limitations as us. But with all this potential, there are also big challenges. We talked about the ethical stuff, but what do you think we need to do as a society to make sure AI is used for good?
That's the million-dollar question. One thing's for sure, AI development needs to be guided by ethical principles, things like fairness, transparency, and accountability.
Right, like making sure these systems aren't biased, that they're used in a way that respects people and that everyone benefits from them.
Exactly. We need to be very careful that AI doesn't make existing inequalities worse or get used for harmful purposes.
It's like any powerful technology. It can be used for good or bad, depending on who's controlling it.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not just about the intentions of the people who create AI, it's about the impact it has on everyone. Like what happens when AI can automate lots of jobs? How do we make sure everyone has opportunities in this new world?
Yeah, we need to be thinking about education and training so people can adapt to these changes and develop the skills they'll need in the future.
Absolutely. It's not just about the tech itself, it's about how we adapt as a society. It's a multifaceted challenge. We need technical innovation, but also ethical guidelines, policy changes, and education initiatives.
Sounds like we've got a lot of work to do. But is there any good news here?
Well, the good news is that more and more people are starting to think seriously about these ethical and societal questions. There are tons of discussions happening among researchers, policymakers, and industry leaders, and it's important for all of us to be a part of these conversations.
So what can our listeners do to stay informed and get involved?
There's a ton of information available online. You can check out organizations like the Partnership on AI, the AI Now Institute, and the Future of Life Institute. They're doing really important work in this area.
Okay, I'll make sure to link to those in the show notes.
Great. And beyond that, you can join online discussions, go to conferences, even reach out to your elected officials to let them know what you think about AI policy. The more we all learn about AI, the better equipped we'll be to shape its future.
This has been an incredible deep dive. AI battling it out in coding competitions, the potential to revolutionize software development, the ethical challenges. It feels like we've only just scratched the surface.
I know, right? It's a crazy exciting time to be following AI.
It is, but it's also a bit daunting.
Mm.
It's clear that AI is changing the world in big ways, and we need to be thoughtful about how we manage this transition.
Couldn't agree more. The future of AI isn't set in stone. We're shaping it with every choice we make. So yeah, let's embrace the possibilities, but let's also stay aware of the risks and work together to make sure AI is a force for good.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And to our listeners, if all this AI talk has you hooked, make sure to subscribe to the Before AGI podcast for more deep dives into all things AI. We're going to keep exploring the cutting edge, separating the hype from reality, and helping you navigate this crazy world of AI.
And if you want to get your hands dirty with AI, definitely check out Ian Ochieng's YouTube channel, Ian Ochieng AI. He's got tons of tutorials and insights that are super helpful.
Great recommendation. Okay, that's it for today's deep dive. Thanks for joining us. Keep those brains buzzing, and we'll catch you next time.